Okay, today I'm going to demonstrate how I plait a horse. So the first thing I do before I plait a horse is have a look at the shape of the horse's neck. So there's a couple of little tricks that you can do when you're plaiting a horse to help enhance or give the illusion that they have a better shape to their front. So the first thing I look at is the length of the horse's neck. If the horse has a bit shorter of a front, you can do lots more smaller plaits, which will give the illusion that the horse is longer in front. So instead of doing big thick plaits, which will make the neck look shorter, if you do lots of little plaits, it'll give the illusion that the neck is longer. There's another thing with enhancing the length of the neck and giving the illusion that the horse has a longer neck, and that is to do with the bridle path and cutting off the wither. So what I like to do is to cut no bridle path and cut no hair off the wither, so that way you can plait from the top of the head all the way down to the wither, which then the length of neck looks this long, rather than if you cut a big bridle path and cut the section off the wither, your plaits are from here to here and will give the illusion that the neck is shorter. So if you have a horse that is a little shorter in the front and you want to make it look longer, try not to cut the bridle path, don't cut the wither off, and do lots more little plaits. The other thing that you can do to give the illusion that the horse has a better top line is to do a bigger scallop on the plait. So the bit that goes behind the rosette, the bit that pushes up behind, is called the scallop. The bigger the scallop, so if I cut a section out here, the bigger the scallop pushed up, the more top line, it gives the illusion that there's more top line on the horse's neck. The other way that you can give the illusion that there is more top line on the neck is to do slightly smaller plaits at the top and the bottom and slightly larger through the centre. So it gives the illusion that you've got crest through the middle, and by that I don't mean do little P1s at the top and golf balls in the middle, make it a slight difference, but it will give that illusion that they have a little more through the middle section of their neck. Okay, so I'm going to start with plaiting the horse, and what I like to do is section the entire mane first, and the reason I do that is that so when I stand down and have a look at the horse, I can see that it was the effect that I was going to go for, and also so that when you get to the bottom, you don't get left with one giant plait or a little plait on the end. You can go back and resection the mane into the plaits. So today we're going to do some nice big dressage plaits on this horse. I like to use this little sectioning comb. It has a little section for smaller show jumping plaits or pony plaits or even western braiding. It's got a middle-sized bit which I usually use on the show horses, and a big section that I like to use on the dressage horses. Okay, now I've sectioned the mane to the appropriate width. I'll do a demonstration plait here. So what I like to use is wax in the mane. This one is really good because it's a little push-up, and what it does is it keeps all those fluffies down at the top of the mane without being too sticky, so it doesn't get all over your hands, but it gives a really nice, smooth, shiny finish. So what I do is just brush this on, get all those hairs inside, all the side bits and the top. Smooth it down. Alright, smooth it with your fingers so you've got every little bit of hair into this plait. So when I push up this back bit now, there is no bit sticking out, it all sits down flat into the hair. So what I want to achieve with this horse is some beautiful big dressage plaits with a big scallop behind them. So the way that I do the big scallop behind them is to make sure that when I section it into three and I start to plait, the top of it is loose, and then I'm going to use my thumb to hold the start of the plait, then to continue on being tight. So this bit I do loose, so let it just fold into itself. And then hold it with my thumb, and now start to plait tight. And you have to plait this part really tight to get it, the ball neat. And I like to plait down about a finger's length. So when I've got to about a finger, I'll put on my, just plait it down a little bit further, hold it there, pop on my elastic. So you've got your plait, and when you push that up, it's nice and loose behind and a nice little area for the plait to sit on. So once I'm here, this horse needs a bit of a haircut anyway. So what we're going to do is trim the ends of this horse's mane. And what I try to make sure that I don't do is that cut it too close to the elastic, so that next time when you go to plait, you can plait down to the same length. If you keep cutting it at the elastic, then the mane will just get shorter and shorter as you plait down. The other trick I've got to make them really nice and neat is to trim them now before you've rosetted them. So I like to lift the plait up and all these little fluffy bits down here, just cut them off now. So I've trimmed them off, and this bottom section I don't like to cut straight. I like to cut at a little bit of an angle so that when you take the mane out, it's not just blunt ends. So we're just going to cut the ends of this. You can fold them over and tuck them into the elastic, but this horse's mane is a little bit long for that and a little bit thick. So we're just going to cut today. There we have the plait ready to be sewn. It's already been neatened up so that when I do sew it, it will be nice and clean looking. Okay, what I like to use is a thick metal needle with a large eye hole and a slightly blunt top. It's still pointed, but it's not sharp, but it's not completely blunt. I also like to use normal cotton thread, just your cheap thread from your haberdashery stores. There's a couple of reasons I like to use this, and first one is that it's really cheap. You can also match the horse's hair really easily, especially for your chestnut horses and things like that, you have flaxens in different colours. And the other thing is that you don't have to worry so much where you're putting the needle in and out of the plait, because you can't see it, it's so thin. And there's another advantage at the end when you go to take the plaits out. So what I do is put the end of the hair at the base of the plait, not the elastic. If I was to put the elastic at the end, what would happen is that little end would poke out. So put the end of the hair at the base of the plait here. I go through the elastic, and I've got a little knot on the end of my string here, and the knot's not going to hold the plait, it's just to tell me where I'm near the end of the string. So I just keep going until I feel that little knot. So that just means don't pull it any further. Now I'm going to go back through roughly the same area, and I only go through the elastic once to make it easy on myself. So I've done 1, this is coming back 2, and again, 3, 4. So I do 4 down the bottom, then I pinch the top of the plait together, and I'm on the underside here, so I've done 4, then I'll do 2. You don't need to pull it super tight, but just so it's firm. Now, my plait is already sewn together, so when I roll that now, there's no chance of that coming undone. Now I'm on the underside of the plait here, I'm going to get my needle, push it through the base of the plait. So basically through the scallop, don't go through the plait, go underneath it, the base of the horse's neck. Pull the needle through. Don't use your thread to pull the plait around. Use your fingers to place the plait where you would like it. So around here. Now I'm going to go back and forward through that bit until it sort of feels secure. So under the base, and then keep rolling it around. Hold it where you want the plait to stay. Okay, I've done a few there to make it feel secure, and all I'm going to do is just snap that thread off, and there's your plait. So we've got a nice little bit scallop up the top, and it's not tight on the horse's neck. That's what I like about giving a bit of scallop, is that the plait's tight, but it can actually move on the horse's neck and it's not restricting or hurting them. So then when you go to take the plait out with the simple cotton, the benefit to that is that you can just pull it at the end of the day and snap it out.